Welcome to another episode of Dad's Rules with Kevin Belzer. This is episode 233, and today is a solo episode, just like Hall & Oates. Sadly, not a duet anymore. They are now solo artists. Okay, so this is just a temporary thing. Melissa's not here today. She's playing bingo. So, decided that I would just knock out an episode all by my lonesome. Now, 35 years ago, there was a football game, a Super Bowl played between the Bills and the Giants. And a friend of mine, James Harness, was always known for playing pranks on us. Well, it was finally my opportunity to get revenge on him. 35 years ago, we are all working at Taco Bell, and we brought a TV into the back room, and we're watching the Super Bowl in between people coming through drive-through and ordering their tacos and stuff like that. And we hadn't had an order in a long time. So the whole second half, we're able to actually sit in the back, enjoy the game. And all of a sudden we hear the ding, ding, somebody's at the drive-thru. And me and one of my coworkers look at each other and we're like, we're not going to go get it. Because at that moment, the Buffalo Bills are lining up to kick a field goal to win the Super Bowl. And James Harness was rooting for the Buffalo Bills to make the said field goal. And we're like, we're not gonna get it. We're not getting up. We're not gonna go to the drive-thru. So James goes, takes their order, and while he's gone, making their food, taking their money, all that fun stuff, the field goal is kicked, and it is missed by the Buffalo Bills. The New York Giants are Super Bowl champions once again. So we turn the TV off, and James comes back and he's like, oh, it's over? And we're like, yeah. And guess what? The Buffalo Bills, they made it. They won. Can you believe it? And he was so excited. And so the rest of the night, he's talking about how his good buddy Tom Green is going to be so excited. He's been a Buffalo Bill fan his whole life, and the Bills have just won the Super Bowl, and he's just ecstatic. Then it's time to lock the doors, leave. We're all getting in our cars to head home. And I turn to James and I go, oh, by the way, the Bills didn't win. The Giants won. He missed the field goal. Night. Finally got my revenge. And 35 years later, it's still one of my most favorite, fondest memories of James Harness. And yes, we are still friends to this day. But hey, he was always pranking us, and it was finally my opportunity. And for hours, he thought the Bills had won the Super Bowl, and they had not. They had not won the Super Bowl, but we just played it out like, yeah, I know, this is so great. They won the Super Bowl. They made the kick. Can you believe it? Nope, they didn't make the kick. It was wide right. It was not a good kick at all, and it wasn't blocked. There was no reason he should have missed it. He just screwed it up like every time the Bills have ever been in the Super Bowl. Yeah, good times. So, what did I really want to talk about today? Because that came up in a Facebook history when I was looking on NFL.com, because I could not believe that Bill Belichick did not get enough votes to be a first ballot Hall of Famer as a coach. And I'm like, how is that not possible? He won 6 Super Bowls with Tom, and he's not a Hall of Famer? Okay. I'm like, okay, doesn't make any sense. And on top of that, Shooter Sanders is made the Pro Bowl as a backup quarterback. Yeah, the world's kind of weird right now. But that's not what I wanted to talk about today. What I want to talk about is momentum and how you lose it and how you can possibly get it back. Because it does not matter that when you see this episode, it's going to be January 28th. And a lot of people have quit their New Year's resolutions. You could be watching this episode or listening to this episode in June and you don't have momentum. This episode pertains to wherever you are, whatever time of year it is, not just in January where everybody quits their New Year's. I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people quit their New Year's resolutions by, what is it, like the 17th? Isn't that the official quit day? So like 11 days ago, people said, I'm done. Momentum. The best way to get momentum is to not start on January 1st. Just pick a random date during the year. That'd be the best. to get momentum. I was looking at, I'll tell you a little story. I was looking at my productivity last year. And by the end of the year, the productivity numbers that I made, it was by far the best money making year I've ever had. It was better than 2021 when anybody with a pulse in real estate could honestly make money. It was better than those years. Last year in real estate was considered one of the hardest years ever and one of the worst years ever in real estate. I think that the last time we had numbers that low was sometime in the 90s. So if you did well last year, it was you earned it. There's some agent I talked to that were kind of upset about their numbers, and I'm like, honestly, in grand scheme of things, those are pretty good. But for me personally, there was a lot of things that I did to make the amount of income I did last year, but there was some mistakes that were made at the beginning of the year that I remembered because I track everything. So that's key number one, to create momentum. But I was tracking everything and looking at the beginning of last year. The first 3 months of the year were nothing to get excited about. The per deal income that I was making was good. However, it was not a lot of deals. Keeping that in mind, I realized that, okay, going into 2026, I need to make sure that I don't let off the gas going into 2026 and maybe change some things up to not only do exactly what I did the prior year as far as total income was concerned, but create better momentum going into the year. Add some things in that would fine tune. We've talked about this before, fine tune what I was doing so that I was completely productive and not wasting time on the what I call the 80% tasks. 80% tasks would be the things that you could hire somebody out for, delegate, or honestly not do it all. So throughout last year, I'd actually taken care of a lot of the things that needed to be delegated. All the marketing stuff was delegated out using systems inside my brokerage, using an outside marketing company where I send to them and they handle all the social media side of things. Yes, I still have to record videos and stuff like that, but they handle the distribution side of things, figuring out the hashtags, all that fun stuff. And all I do is I just get it to them and they schedule it all out. So it looks like a fine tuned machine, which it is. What that enabled me to do is last summer when I took pretty much the month of July off, it looked like I was working the whole time based on what was going on in the social media. And then I was spending maybe a half hour to an hour a day making sure that, files were in order, appointments when I got back were lined up, stuff like that. So there were things to where the momentum would never drop off because I knew going into the summer, like I said, the first 3 months of the year, not good. But when the momentum started happening, I didn't want to kill the momentum. I need to keep the foot down and still make the family happy by taking a vacation and being there with them, but with the understanding of I am self-employed. So there's going to be about a half hour to an hour a day to where I have back end stuff that needs to be taken care of, talking to clients, stuff like that. But anyway, using the marketing team, I had all my videos pre-shot before I went on vacation, sent them to them, and had it to where here's when I need stuff to drop. So what ended up happening while I was on vacations, I actually had people proactively calling me and me scheduling it for when I got back. So little sneaky little trick I did there. I didn't let myself go dead silent on social media. I wasn't posting business myself every day. My marketing department was doing it for me. So that was working smart, not hard. Anyway, fast forward to the end of the year when I'm looking at the numbers in retrospect of how did the year play out. And it was a really good year, obviously, because it was the best financial year I've ever had. And going, okay, how do I create momentum going into the new year to have the results be ramped up going into the year and not be like, because the problem is with a lot of people is that they shut down around the holidays and then you have to restart the engine, especially in real estate. We see it all the time where they restart things and they're not closing anything in January, and they may have a closing or two in February, and then it starts kicking off in March. And I can look back for years and say that, yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. And this year I'm like, not going to be the case. So I made sure that the momentum I created going into the later part of the year that continued into January of this year. So what I did is I pre-shot a lot of the videos, made sure that those were into my marketing department, never stopped with the follow-up calls or the appointments. And then I was still able to take a week off at the very end of the year. But while I was gone, I put a couple deals in because I had listings going into the new year's. So I had business that I could convert while I was in Denver seeing my son, over Christmas holidays, that turned into closings that already happened in January. Because hello, it's January 28th. So already had some closings this month. And so already the money is more than it was last year, 1 month in. And there's multiple deals already in for February. I wanted to bring up that you can create that kind of momentum any time of the year, but what you have to remember is never to stop with the momentum. You need to keep it going and not take the foot off the gas. It's like, yeah, we want a vacation, we want to take time away with family and stuff like that. You got to ask yourself, whatever business you're in, what things can I do to where when I take a week away or I take 2 weeks away, that there are things working in the background that are going to keep me front of mind in whatever business I'm in, whether it's real estate or your AC company, a roofing company, whatever. What can you do to where the phones will still be ringing? There's still appointments that can be set to where you get back, you're not ramping back up again. So that was a huge lesson that I took from last year, even though it was my best year ever. But I can look at the first 3 months of the year and go, those were not good months for it. It's like the income I made was not enough. Yet the rest of the year, it's like once the momentum started going, yeah, it turned out very well. But I'm like, man, I lost 3 months of business because I didn't ramp up going into the new year. So I got thinking about how, there's a lot of people that, you know, have quit like the New Year's resolutions. And like I said, you can take this video for any time of year, but let's just take for New Year's resolutions or any kind of time you have throughout the year where you have a resolution to do whatever, lose weight, read more, get more clients, whatever the case may be. And I was thinking about it. Why do people, stop with, before the momentum can kick in on anything? Because if I think about it, like even in December when I was doing a lot of this, I was getting a lot of pushback from people that did not want to list, did not want to do anything, but yet I was still able to put business in because I wasn't listening to the negative that I was hearing. I was like, well, if I pick up the phone enough, if I do enough appointments, it's not like I can't sign people. They're saying, yeah, I'm waiting till after the holidays. Great. Let's sign now. Let's get photos now so that when January 3rd comes in or whatever date they picked arbitrarily to go on the market, we have everything done. And it worked magnificent. Did it work for everybody? No. But it worked for way more than never asking the question. So for like in a business sense, momentum, how do I say this? In a business sense, it's like it's pushing through the nothing happening, nothing happening, nothing happening to all of a sudden the Ferris wheel is loading up and you're seeing business, you're seeing it in front of your head. And but then you look at like other things and you go, well, you can correlate it to other things as well. So like weight loss. Day one, you go for a walk, you don't notice that you lost weight. It's the act of doing the activity over and over long enough that you'll finally start seeing the results of it, or eating healthy. You can't eat one salad or one carnivore diet and go, well, I should have lost 30 pounds by now. It doesn't work that way. It took you years to get fat. And I can say this as a former fat person, it takes a long time to get fat. It doesn't all land on you in one day. So it's not going to all come off on you, off of you in one day either. So I can do a friend of mine that she mentioned that she wants to lose weight. And this is where I started thinking about something that Dean Graziosi taught a long time ago, but I don't know, sometimes it takes a while before it actually, some of that stuff sticks. But he'd said how that anything you want to do in life, you have to ask yourself why. And you're not just asking yourself why one time. It could take 4 to 7 times of digging down to find out what the true why of why you want to do it is. And so when she mentioned to me that she wanted to lose weight, I go, well, that's great, but why? Because just saying that you want to lose weight or you want to make more money or you want to eat healthy, that's like just putting a fantasy or a wish out there into the world and going, I hope it turns out okay. That's not how the world works. If you don't back it up with a why you want to do it, you're not going to keep the momentum going to get the end result that you want. So I asked her, I go, well, that's great, but why do you want to lose weight? And so we started digging down in it. And the why gets down to, well, I want to be there for my husband, in the retirement years. And I want to be able to go on the hikes and enjoy the cruises. And um, I want to be healthy for my grandkids down the line and like go to their weddings and stuff and so it's like the picture becomes bigger of like it's not just it's never like losing weight for vanity's side of it. It's like, yeah, it'd be cool if you look good in a, bathing suit or a guy with six-pack abs, sure. But that's not going to drive you enough. There has to be something bigger to it in order for you to want to like actually follow through and lose the weight or eat healthy. Or it's like, okay, so even like saying, I want to make more money. Well, that's great, but why? Because I'll tell you straight out, it's like that, if you hit 100,000, I mean, the difference between 100,000 and 200,000, even though in dollar amounts it seems like a lot, buying wise for most people is not really going to change things a lot. You have to go, okay, why do you really want to get there? What is it for? Is it so you can retire early? Is it so that you can give to charities? Do you have like causes that mean a lot to you? Is it so that you have the ability to take time off and go like see the world? I mean, what is your why of doing it? And then after you figure out the why and you dig down to that, and this is not something that you can do in like a minute or two. This is something you should really put some time into and dig down to the true root reason of it. And it's not going to be the same for everybody. I mean, it could be something to where you're like, wow, I didn't even know that's what it was, because it's deep down in your subconscious is a true reason why you want to do something. And then once you figure that out, then the next thing is to go to, well, how am I going to do that? And so like for me, going from 100,000 to 300,000 or even 100 to 200,000 to get there for me personally, I was like, well, how am I going to do that? And the simplest thing would be, well, I'll just put more escrows in, I'll close more deals. But if you're at that time, I was always already working a lot of hours. That doesn't really make sense. It's like, it's because at that time, way back when the first time I did this I was like, okay, so I'm going to go from 70 hours to what? Because I was doing literally everything. But if I started going, well, how am I going to do it? And again, dig down, how exactly am I going to do this? And go, well, okay, so I'm doing all the marketing myself. Would it make sense for me to instead take a portion of what I get paid on every deal and invest it into an outside marketing team and have them do it for me? Would it make sense for all this time I'm spending trying to figure out how to edit videos and everything else? Would it make more sense to get good enough from an outside marketing company and have them do it instead of me trying to spend perfection on a 1 minute long video for 2 hours? That's just not a good use of time. And so for me personally, it was like, okay, if I can add outside elements into this to take hours off of it, then I can meet with more people, which is a 20% activity. And by meeting with more people, I have more opportunities to sign listings, to convert buyer leads into actual buyers, get them pre-qualified, get them into a home. So for me, it was like, okay, adding outside elements. It wasn't just a marketing department. It was adding an assistant in as well. And going that, yes, I can input a listing into MLS. However, it takes me a long time to do it because I freaking hate it. I could also create the file with the broker, but I don't like doing it. And I go, well, just those two activities alone per listing is going to be an hour to 2 hours for me to do it. Plus, I got to load all the photos and all that. I hired somebody else for that. And by doing that, again, opened up the time for me to actually spend creating meaningful relationships with people, converting at a higher rate than I was before, doing less appointments. Because I think about the first time I hit 300,000 to the next time I hit 300,000. And it was a lot less appointments because I was able to create a better relationship with the people and convert at a higher rate. So I didn't have to do the same amount of appointments to do that. Three things: momentum, and don't stop before the momentum actually shows results. Two, why. Dig down on your why until you get what the true thing is. I said 4 to 7. Hey, heck, it could be, but that's a good number. You know it's going to be no less than 4. Most it's around 7. And then how can I get these results? Like, for losing weight and stuff like that. The how could be that, okay, I need protein supplements, I need pre-workout, I need all that. And it's that's going to be some things that help me out on it. So that's going to be part of your how on it. It could be in my situation for the health aspect and losing weight. I hired a personal coach because I was like, I don't freaking know what exercises to do, and I don't know how many I should do, and I don't know anything about recovery time or anything, because I was like, well, I guess you got to do it 7 days a week, and it's gonna be hours a day, and yeah, I quit. So I was like, yeah, can't have that approach to it. So what I did is I hired a coach. I found out that 4 times a week for working out, and then I walk every day. I walk every day just for stress relief, if for nothing else. But I hired a coach for that. And then for the business side of things, to keep me on track, I started using a new system that helps me with the how. And the one I'm using right now is called Operator Standard. It's from Andy Frisell. It's invite only right now, so it's not open to the public. But there are many different ones out there that people could use. And I'm glancing over, seeing if I can find it. I mean, for some people, it could be as simple as a booklet like this, and this is called a best self. And then this, you just map out a day, and you have your goals for the day, your targets for the day, and strictly all you're trying to do is just win the day. And by winning the days repeatedly and stacking the wins daily, and Andy talks about this in Operator Standard, is by stacking the days. I mean, that's how you create momentum, and that's how you win. I mean, it's pretty much that simple. But I'm hoping that this episode helped you guys out, gave you a little guidance on where my thoughts were today on a solo episode without Melissa. And yeah, I guess at this point, we'll wrap it up right here. And if you like the show, like, share, comment, review, leave feedback. It all helps the show grow. And until next time, go out and be the kick-ass adult I know you all can be.